So our next speaker is Steve Slater. Now he is an IT site services manager working for Wates Group and is another common face at the COMIT, in the COMIT area. He's been involved in COMIT since 2005 and is an expert in providing IT services in the construction industry. And he's going to speak to us about the COMIT 5G project, which he's leading, and he's eager to explore how 5G can transform the construction industry. And on that, I'll hand over.
Good morning. Lovely to see so many here today. Thank you for getting over the challenges of the rail have thrown in front of us. Now, Neil will probably say to us, I thought we sorted site connectivity, so why are we here again in 2023 talking about this? We've done lots of projects in the past looking at how we can provide great connectivity to our sites, but the truth is it's a changing feast. We're getting more and more advanced technology that requires more bandwidth, and we keep outstripping the supply that we've got. So we looked at our project list, and we got together and we thought, let's do it again, but let's do it again with the not just the connectivity view, but how can we exploit that connectivity, because 5G is going to give us lots of opportunity, and I think this slide says it here. Absolutely has the potential to transform what we're doing, how we're doing, and working across all people here. We've got lots of innovation, lots of knowledge, and we've got a really great opportunity to explore that. So this focus group that I'm working with, we're absolutely going to be working with owners, contractors, subcontractors, technology providers, software providers. So we're going to kind of look at the full piece and make sure that we give. Sorry, Max. I'm making too much noise. I always get told that. So we've got a real great opportunity to do this, hence why we kind of set up this project. So who's involved? I think Stuart said EMS, they're providing the 5G connectivity here today. They were involved with COMIT back in the noughties when I worked with Shepherd. We set up the first IMO. I know that Jackson's as well had that technology, and it gave us something to connect to site before BT got their networks in. So AMS are on board with the project. Obviously, Wates, the organisation I work for, are fully involved. We've got Colin Everson, who's done a lot of work in the Outer Isles of Scotland from BAM Nuttall. He's joined the project, and we've recently got Plinks, who want to change how we manage our construction workforces, and they want to disrupt what we're doing. So really good to have Barry on board from Plinks. Agile handover. You probably know Fran from Toys for Techies. He normally comes and gives us all sorts of good stuff just before Christmas shows. So he's on board as well to help us with some of the views out there that perhaps we wouldn't be looking at. And of course, I don't think Virgin and Media O2 need any explanation. We've got Ant Moss from Head of Innovation for Virgin Media O2 on board. So we've got a good team, and we've got lots of other interested parties as well. I know BT want to get involved. I know we've got other construction companies want to get involved. Wilmot Dixon have expressed an interest, and Morgan Sindel, and so we've got quite a few. So hopefully we're going to get a real good spread of what we need. So what is 5G? This could be a very long and complicated answer, but in its simplest form, it's the next iteration of mobile data networks after 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is, the technologies tell me, but this is different, 5G. This is a transformational technology, because they're not just doing more of the same. And it's going to open some real opportunities. And I think the biggest difference is the scale of which that this can go. So when we went from 3G to 4G, we went from hundreds of devices to thousands of devices being able to connect at the same time. They tell me now that we're going from the thousands of devices on 4G per tower, mast, cell, whatever you want to call it, is going to be hundreds of thousands and millions of devices, and this is going to open up lots of opportunity. It's sometimes good to reflect on where we've come from. So I think we all remember the mozzarella bricks, so we're old enough to know. So the big heavy thing that you couldn't lift was back in the 80s. The 90s saw the Nokias with the snake game, which has made an amazing comeback recently. In the noughties, we saw 3G, and that's when we first started working with the IMO from EMS and the connectivity to site. And we got our first smartphones, I think, in the noughties. We got Apple with their iPhone, and then in the 10s we get 4G and we get real smartphones now. And I don't know if everybody remembers, that was when we saw our first iPad launched. Generation 1 iPad was only 2010. How crazy! We think that they've been here forever, but yeah, and obviously now. Almost all devices now that are being launched are 5G capable. So, and this concept of connecting everything to the network is really coming to light. So why is it essential for construction? So why are we doing this? And I've alluded to the Rapid Site project that we had, Neil, probably 10 years ago, maybe more. Last iteration of it, we produced a catalogue of what was available, and it's still a challenge today. We've got somewhere in the region of 60% population coverage of 5G currently, so we still got lots of places where rapid connectivity is still a challenge for us, and I think. Making the technology providers aware of how crucial it is to be able to get that connectivity from day one, because otherwise we can't do all the other things that we've got up there. We can't get our central applications. Everything's moved to the cloud recently, so much more reliance on being connected. We used to have servers and things on sites. Now that's all gone up to the cloud now. So far more important, we have internet connections from day one, and we know what happens when we don't have the latest drawings and things. Yeah, I mean that image up there kind of shows what, you know, in a geoval way what could happen. But that is not uncommon. Is where we build things in the wrong place. Rework is costing the industry an absolute fortune, and we wonder why our margins are so low. To what Neil alluded to, 2 and 3%. When we're not when we're into rework, and the worst thing of all is if we don't have connectivity from day one, people can't work on site. They have to revert to paper systems. They have to work from another site or another office, travelling, all those kind of things. So really make the site unproductive. And we won't get the specialist teams. We talk about all the good stuff that we can do, but we can't get the teams with the specialisms on site if we don't have the connectivity. And ultimately, if these lead to delays and reduced margins, and nobody kind of benefits from any of this. And the real opportunity here with 5G is the Internet of Things. So we talked about there being able to connect to multiple things, and absolutely enabler for that. And they tell me that IT security will be much more improved, much enhanced in 5G. So that's got to be a good thing. So we said it's going to transform the business world. Absolutely. All sectors are going to benefit from this. More so the business world than the consumer. The consumer can maybe download a film or what have you a little bit quicker, but the real differentiator is going to be for the business world. And as we can see here, I don't think there's any organisation or group of organisations that aren't going to benefit from this. So just going into the kind of specifics we talked about for construction, Tony with his drone project. I know you've done quite a bit of work with 5G, so lots of opportunities there. We saw robotics, the bricklayer, the robotic bricklayer. We're going to have autonomous machines out there. All this is all going to be possible with 5G. Again, thinking back to the multiple devices that are going to be able to connect to the network, and it's going to be a real enabler. Again, really important thing is making sure we know where everything is on the site, tracking assets, and making sure that we can make the most of that. And AI and augmented reality, again, it needs a lot of bandwidth. It needs to be always on. It needs to be connected. So a really really key thing. And last but not least, health and safety across the workplace, which is absolutely paramount. We're going to be able to make sure we have geofenced areas for safe working. We're going to have alerts. There's all sorts of things that we can do there. Okay, back to the specifics of the project. So we're breaking this down into 4 phases. The first being, as we've talked about, connectivity. So last year, Wates moved all their 4G rapid site connections across to 5G with the help of BT. We're going to write that up and we're going to share that because there was some good learning from that. It has really made a massive difference to how Wates can function at the start of a project. I was expecting somewhere in the region of about 25% of our sites to be 5G enabled once we went through that project. I was a bit sceptical of the figures that BT shared with us, but we actually it was nearer 60 to 70% of the sites that were 5G enabled, and we had to throttle back our main core network so that we didn't flood the network and cause problems. But yeah, really successful project. So we're going to write that up with the help of BT and the project team, and so we'll share that with the wider audience. And the other part to connectivity is what do we do if we don't have a network? So we're looking at a pop-up 5G private network. So we're going to test this in a kind of controlled conditions, and we're working with Sunbelt to try and come up with a suitable site location for that. Next phases, we're going to look at how we can exploit that network. So in phase 2, we're going to be looking at how we can make sure the project runs to time. Phase 3, how do we manage our materials? We talked about tracking materials, and not only around site, where do we store them, and then when are they installed? Quite often, if there's lots of multiple different components, we can lose track of where they are on site. And the final one is around people and safety, so making sure that we can keep our workforce safe. We're in phase 1 at the moment, as I said, and what we've done so far. So the first thing, of course, was make sure we get the team formed, which I've shown you previously who was involved in that. We meet weekly, so we spend half an hour on a Tuesday just going through where we are, what we need to do, what we need to progress, and it only lasts half an hour. And we're very strict on the time because we're very clear on everybody's got a lot of things in their day, but they keep everybody connected and they keep the project moving forward. And one of the first things we did when we set the team up was making sure that we had a team charter, so everybody knew what was expected of them. We set out the rules so that we're not going to. We're certainly not going to tolerate people who don't participate. So it's very, very key for everybody to contribute. So that is one of the key things, is making sure and be respectful of others. We're going to be sharing information which can be quite sensitive to organisations. We understand that people want to keep their crown jewels safe and they don't want to share, but that's what we're here for. We're here to share and have some really great learning. So the next thing we did, we agreed the 4 phases that to the project have just gone through. And we thought it was a good idea to create a list of frequently asked questions, so that whenever we have meetings externally, or we're thank you very much, Stuart, or we want to onboard new members, we've got a good list of things to be able to answer. So we completed the high-level plan. We've done the phase 1 project requirements. We did gap analysis, which we thought was a really good idea to understand what capability we've got within the team and what do we need so we can approach others. We've done the solutions design for phase 1, and as I said, we're now looking for a site. So we've done the site. So what we're doing next? So we've got site location to get agreed. We need to deploy the pop-up network, and we're going to connect to other 5G focus groups. So Colin Everson is part of a funded, government-funded project group. So we're joining forces. So we're going to share learning with that, which I think is a great opportunity. And we'll review the project requirements for phase 2. Thank you very much, Stuart. And we're looking to expand the team. So very quickly, why should you join? All the things I've just said, the benefits absolutely are you're going to be at the forefront of the technology. It's low risk. We're all averse to risk in construction. It's low cost, and you absolutely get the opportunity to explore how your businesses can benefit. And we're going to explore how we can exploit these and again, so why should a great person said, none of us is smarter than all of us, which is absolutely why everybody's here today. So if you want to get involved, please contact me or Stuart. Come and talk to me in the breaks, and we're lovely to have you on board. Thank you very much.